Welcome, welcome, welcome. Clutch Sports Radio broadcasting live in studio. Of course, having a good night here. Busy day, let me just tell you. But first, before we get started with this busy day and going around the corner, I want to introduce, we have a special in-studio guest joining us, and that is good friend of the show, Jared Green. How's it going, buddy?
Hello.
By the way, do you guys know who Jared Green is? Coleman, do you know who Jared Green is?
I do now, that's for sure.
Coleman, thank you again for joining us again,
absolutely.
by the way. Welcome back.
Yeah, happy to be back.
I missed you last week.
Yeah.
Coleman had to take care of romance 2 weeks in a row. That's what I've been telling everyone. You know, he has a girlfriend and duties. You know. So, anyways, thank you everyone for joining us. Broadcasting live here in studio, Clutch Sports Radio. Check us out right now. Get on it. eyesradio.com. That is where you can go and listen to us live and all that good stuff. Get in the chat box. Scroll down a little bit, and at the top of the page, actually, click that Listen Live tab. That is your best friend right now. Get in the chat box. Chat with us. Coleman's probably in there. I'm going to trickle in there. That way, you guys, if you have any questions for Jared, please ask him. He's going to be here for about the first 30 minutes of the show. He's got some stuff to do, but we're really excited to have him here. So first of all, how's it going, man? How was your first? What are you doing right now? First of all, being here, are you hanging out with the family? Are you eating a lot of chicken wings? What's going on?
Definitely eating a lot of chicken wings. Everything's going well. I'm here, in Northern Virginia, where I'm from. Spend a lot of time with my family, and it's good to be home. It's good to be back. Had a great year. Had a lot of fun in Carolina with the Panthers, and I've got some bad news for a lot of your listeners, but I guess you can tell them. I don't know. I won't say it.
Did you see? You notice I tagged you a few times on
yeah,
tweets. Did you see a lady?
I saw.
I chose to ignore that one too. She straight up cussed me out. I was like,
I hope she's watching.
Yeah, that's awesome. So man, congratulations. So again, you just mentioned it. You were with the Carolina Panthers, really exciting. But now you're with the Dallas Cowboys. So how was that whole experience? I know we haven't even caught up to that extent. How did that come about? I know I saw a picture of you in front of a star. So how many times have you been there? What have you done? The locker room? Tell me, what does Big D look like?
I've been there once, and I'm going there to stay March 15th. So it's been really exciting. I ended up playing a year contract with Carolina, and when it was time to renegotiate, tested the market a little bit and got some good feedback from a couple teams, but the most and the best from the Dallas Cowboys. So that is my new home. That's my new team, and I'm excited about it.
Yeah, and Jared, I got to say congratulations.
Thank you.
First, even though not too happy about the move, of course.
Yeah.
But got to ask you, how's the family taking it? What was the reaction been like from the old man?
The family is really excited. A lot of my cousins, a lot of my friends, they all were just like, what in the world is going on? And, a lot of people thought it was a joke, but my dad and I, we kind of went through the negotiation process together, and we made the decision together. And he's excited. He's excited because I'm his son and I'm in the NFL.
Right.
So regardless of where I am, he's going to be a fan. So that might hurt a couple people, but in the meantime, you just say, hey, whatever. We'll have some fun when we come in town.
Yeah, no, I think I even saw a picture of I think it was you and your dad together last year, and he was decked out in some Panthers gear.
Oh yeah, he was rocking Panthers gear. His rule this year is once you score a touchdown, then we'll talk about the gear. So no gear until then. Just in case anybody's worried right now.
Yeah. All right, people. So those haters, there's not too many of them. We love the Green family. Yeah, come on, man. No, that's pretty exciting. So have you met Jerry Jones?
Haven't met him yet. I have a meeting with him in March, so that's going to be exciting. I've talked to a couple of the players when I was out there. Some of the other guys that signed. We also have Anthony Armstrong, and he actually was there for the last part of the season. So it's going to be exciting to talk to him, because we both have something in common.
Right.
being around this area. So it's gonna be cool.
That's exciting, man. I know that they're revamping that wide receiver squad over there
Sure.
in Dallas. So hey, it's exciting. They need some change, and hopefully you guys can bring something new. I'm sure you guys are going to bring something new. It's a different group
No doubt.
altogether. So that's pretty big, that place, Jared. Obviously.
Oh my goodness,
Humongous.
Dallas is everything is bigger in Texas. So Dallas is it's really nice, really flat. You can see for miles if you just standing in the middle of the street, and it's a nice area. It's clean. It's beautiful, and it's the South, and that's not everybody's made for the South, but I like it.
Absolutely. I've been to Texas a few times. I've been to Houston. I've never been anywhere close to Dallas. I have a friend that goes to the games, and he says it's a beautiful thing. Hey man, you're gonna be part of a humongous community. Are you kidding me? The Washington Redskins is another one. I mean, there's history there, obviously.
Right.
Super Bowl championships won there. Did you get to look at any of the Lombardi trophies?
Oh yeah, I was deep in there, and then they're gonna show you that when you're on your visit and signing there. So I got to see all that, and got to see they have posters and they have all the stuff of Michael Irvin and what do they call them, the triplets, Emmitt Smith and Troy Aikman, and they have a lot of history in there. And one thing I was really excited about was meeting Calvin Hill, Grant Hill's father.
Oh wow!
Who's also a former NFL player whose son became a professional athlete. So that's pretty cool. We have something in common. So
I didn't know Grant Hill's dad was a football player.
Yeah, Dallas Cowboy, Calvin Hill.
That's crazy.
So it was cool. I had a great meeting over there, and got to enjoy walking around and touring their facility and their fields and all that stuff. It was really fun. And a lot of people feel this way, they feel that way. The Panthers fans are like, "Why are you leaving?" The DC fans are like, "Why aren't you coming?" And everybody has something to say. But man, when you can look at it, if you can try to remove yourself from the fan perspective and just see yourself in an opportunity where you're going to a new job and you're just excited. I feel the same way that anybody who just got a new job feels.
Right, and
of course.
I agree with you. That's actually because when I first heard about this, I was actually kind of thinking like, oh my gosh, how could he do that? I kind of just like what you said, kind of removed myself from the situation a little bit, and I think that's something that sports fans don't do enough. I mean, you got to look at it. It's a business. I mean, just like how we have jobs and go to do different jobs every single day. It's a business. It's
Definitely.
a league, and that's the way the players should look at it. And so, it's a business decision.
It's a huge business decision, and you can't get caught up into emotions and your favorite team growing up. I mean, you can't think that way, because if you think that way, you're not going to be in this league long.
All right. So if anyone hates you, I'm going to take that hate and put it towards me. Let me tell you something. Growing up, Cowboys fan.
Oh, okay.
All right, people, I've never admitted that in the 2 years of doing this show. So hate, come on down. Y'all have been hating on me all week long.
So we got to hear the story about how you converted.
Oh, yeah. So I was, growing up, I was a big basketball fan. Basketball was number one. Michael Jordan, Chicago Bulls, who wasn't? I was that kid. And football was Emmitt Smith. You remember going to the mall and the people caricatures that would draw you?
Right.
Oh, yeah. I was number 22. Emmitt Smith was 23 because I put Emmitt over his head. And he was like, pass me the ball. I was like, no, thanks. And, Emmitt Smith was my favorite player. Michael Irvin, Troy Aikman, Moose Johnson. Yeah. I mean, oh, my gosh, Jimmy Johnson. That was a team. When you were a kid and you grew up, I had the starter jacket. You name it. It was Cowboys Central. And then, of course, everything broke up, right? And I straight up stopped watching football for years. Not one game, didn't care for the game at all. In high school, I started watching football again. And at that point, I was like, wait, why the heck am I going to be a Cowboys fan? I'm not even in Dallas. I'm a Redskins fan. And ever since then, I haven't looked back. But, yeah. I had that star in my heart, for sure.
Well, let me go ahead and just validate that and just let people know that it's possible that you can be the son of a Redskin great and feel that same way. Growing up, I was in love with Michael Irvin. I was in love with him. And, for me, I was excited because my dad and him went against each other, twice a year. It was on, and it was violent. It was exciting, and all the fans loved it. If fans can say right now, "Oh, we didn't like watching that matchup," I mean, come on, that's the Redskins' greatest wide receiver DB rival, probably.
Right.
So for me, I appreciated what my dad was, for the most part. I felt like my dad was getting the best of him, but at the same time, I liked what Michael Irvin was doing. So I just fell in love with him. And one day, my dad came home with an '88 jersey signed for me, and
oh man,
and he just surprised me, and I was so excited, so happy. And my dad and him became close friends, and my dad called him and said, "Hey, you won't believe this. My son really wanted this."
He probably got a kick out of that.
Yeah. So we have a long history, the Urbans and the Greens, and it's real fun.
So you never met him growing up? I mean, knowing that your dad faced him twice a year?
I met him. When did I meet him? That was probably in like ninth grade.
Okay.
And then from then on, we kind of developed a relationship. He gave me his cell phone number, so I just I just called him.
Hey, maybe that's why you're playing wideout and not DB.
Yeah.
So have you gone to him over the years for advice?
Yeah, I actually talked to him just recently,
Really?
and he's excited for me to come to Dallas. And when we went to the Hall of Fame, we had the Hall of Fame speech, and he was there, so he was excited about that too. So it's been fun. It's been good. A close friend of mine who's been kind of keeping me under his wings is Derek Dockery, who has been on both sides of the Redskins Cowboys spectrum. So
just came off the Cowboys, right?
Yeah, and he might end up being there one more year. I'm not sure, but it's exciting to be able to talk to guys who have been on both sides, and that's the ultimate Confucius.
I remember Derek Dockery in this area. I mean, people love him. Got a big contract. I think he signed a $66 million or something contract.
Crazy. Yeah,
it was big. He got not here. He got paid by the Bills.
Yeah, yeah.
Once leaving here, that's
great
awesome.
guy too.
Yeah,
great guy.
He was having a career when he left the Washington Redskins. By the way, guys, check us out, eyesradio.com every Thursday, 8 to 10, Clutch Sports Radio, and this show. You want to watch Jared on HD 1080? Of course you do. Tomorrow, Darwin-sports.com. Check it out. It's going to be made available at Darwin-sports.com. Check on the Clutch or click on the Clutch Sports Radio tab on that site, and you can watch Jared in studio. So again, want to thank you for coming in. Right now, big thing that's going on in town is the Combine, right? That was just wrapped up. You were there not so long ago. What was the scariest part with you when you went through that and whatnot?
Well, my circumstances were a little different. I did a pro day, so it was a little different than the Combine. But at the same time, I did have a whole lot of people at my pro day. So it's crazy. There's a lot of emotions going on. You're thinking about the future, and everybody's saying, "Oh no, I'm not worried. I'm not nervous." But come on, man. First off, you're running around in your underwear and you're jumping and running and weighing in and lifting weights and all that. So you got a lot to prove. You got a lot of things that you have to show that you can do. So it's kind of a nerve-wracking situation. But for me, as soon as I got to the line, whatever that line was, where it was the 40 line or the vertical jump line or the broad jump line, I forgot about everything around me, forgot about all those scouts around me, and just focused and zeroed in and tried to perform.
So with Teo, now you mentioned your pro day. Manti Te'o did not have such a great combine for whatever reason. He didn't run as fast. He didn't jump as high, et cetera, et cetera. Didn't even do the 225 bench. So what they're saying is he's going to make up for a lot of this stuff in his pro day. What does that mean in the sense of, this is make it or break it, basically, pro day come Manti Te'o, for example?
Yeah, and I think there's two ways to look at that. The first is this guy has been under a whole lot of just junk. He's been going through it. And I don't really know the truth. No, none of us do. Nobody really knows what happened. But he's brought in a lot of attention to himself, and there's already enough attention brought in when you're preparing for the NFL. So for him, maybe he did get a little nervous, but something that I thought about while I was watching was maybe this is him athletically. Maybe this is as fast as he is. Maybe he's just a great ball player, which is another spectrum that they don't show you, that you can't, replicate at the combine. So, I don't know. There's a lot of ways to look at it, but if he performs at his pro day, there's going to be teams that say, hey, you know what? He looked good at his pro day, and that's all I care about. And like my dad told me last year, there's 32 teams in the NFL. All you got to do is make one happy. There you go.
Yeah. Well, let me ask you a question. Well, guys, I don't know if you've been watching SportsCenter, but people have been knocking Teo this week, definitely. One thing that they were saying, though, is that when it comes to going up against the NFL, just like you're saying, Jared, maybe this is Teo right now. What you see is this guy. When he was put up against quote-unquote NFL caliber college team in Alabama, didn't do so great. Missed tackles, just did not. Well, the guy did not show up to play. You didn't even know Teo was on the field. So what they're saying is, hey, expect this from this guy from now on. I mean, that's what I've heard, and not everyone's saying that. What do you think about that, though? Way too early to go there, right?
Yeah, and for me personally, I've been that guy. I've been the guy that they said, hey, don't give this guy too much credit. Don't be excited about anything he's going to do because this and that, or this is what he did in his past. But some players just progress as they grow, and I think the biggest part in this is coaching. When I got to the Panthers, Ricky Prohl grabbed me, and everybody knows Ricky Prohl was a great receiver, and he taught me different techniques and taught me different things that helped me with my game. And now I feel like today, opposed to last year, I'm a completely different player. So maybe Teo does go to that team that it has a great linebackers coach and develops him into a player that we have no idea even exists. So for me, it's hard to write a person off, because they wrote Joe Flacco off. They've written off a lot of people. They even wanted to write off Jacoby Jones, last year. And I mean, you never know. With this league, man, every day there's a new day. They're saying any given Sunday. I mean, some guys just come out and just birth something amazing when they get the opportunity. So, and that's what we saw out of a lot of guys here in DC. Alfred Morris, I'm sure nobody expected him to do that. So, it's really hard. I mean, the hardest job in sports is predicting who's going to be the guy because you never know.
Yeah, and I actually think sometimes people weigh in too much on what you see at the combine. I mean, this is one day where that person is running their 40, jumping, doing their verticals and doing the bench press and stuff like that. I mean, you've seen guys kind of go both ways. You've seen guys have real great combine days who might not have just turned out quite as well as you thought they would.
Right.
And people have had, not so hot combine days. And like you kind of said earlier, they're just ball players.
Right.
They can play. One thing you don't see at the combine is how people go up and play 11 on 11, go against each other. So that's something you won't see, unfortunately, until a little bit later. And I don't know if you can chime in on that anymore.
And to go more, to take your point even further, there's some players that are going to look really good at the combine that are going to be awful. That's another side of it. Maybe this quarterback is hitting all the targets. Maybe his footwork is great. But guess what? Ray Lewis is coming around the other side. And is he going to be doing all that, good-looking, precision passing when that happens? Maybe not. Right. So, there's two sides to this.
Right, and I know one guy that kind of sticks up, in my mind at least, is Hayward Bay for the Raiders.
Right.
I mean, he ran a blazing fast 40
that
one year at the combine. Vaulted him, I think, into the top 10.
Right.
And, I mean, he's kind of been up and down, mostly down, unfortunately, but I don't think anybody would be taking him with the same pick they did that one year. So that's just kind of one example, at least that I think of.
He got picked over Michael Crabtree.
Right.
Didn't he?
Right. Yeah.
I thought he did.
Yeah.
By the way, I'm wearing these glasses. I'm not just wearing these glasses at night because I want to thank my friends at TomahawkShades.com, Tomahawk Shades for sending these awesome. You guys hooked it up, Nick Sundberg and I, during the season, and thank you for sending your new pair of Dinks. I'm looking at them online, translucent orange frames. So thank you for hooking me up. Next time, why don't you send enough a little bit more for friends? Hello to the left, to the right. Come on, guys. TomahawkShades.com. I appreciate it, guys. Support them. Check them out. Go buy some sunglasses. They have the little springy springs and all kinds of, they got some purple, some whites, all kinds of cool little colors. So check them out, tomahawkshades.com. Really, really appreciate you guys sending them my way. So Jared, I want to have a little fun with you. When's your birthday?
April 1st. I'm a fool's baby.
I got these 2 books for Christmas, all right? One's called The Bathroom Book, and the other one's called LOL Sports. So April 4th, you said?
April 1st.
First. All right, you are an Aries. The Beer Belly. All your friends consider you the biggest sports fan they know. That's because when it comes to blowing a lot of hot air around, you're the man. Coleman, what do you got going on?
September 26th.
All right, September. All right, Coleman, let's see what we got here. The catcher's mitt. You possess the physique of a champion skier, going downhill fast.
Wow.
Champions.
Going downhill fast.
I am the
Have
jock.
fun while it lasts.
Your softball skills will earn you much fame. You'll be invited to Times Square next year's Eve for a special honor. They'll want you to drop the ball. I don't know what that means.
Drop the ball,
Drop the
man.
ball. There you go.
Man.
That's not good. Softball.
Yeah, I think we're all pretty much doing
that's not
that
good.
right now.
Oh, by the way, guys, it's a little ways away, but April 20th, Big Train, they're doing a celebrity softball game. I'll be playing in it. I've never played softball.
Uh-oh.
Hey, I'm working it, though. We're going to have some
Problem is
fun.
hitting the ball. That's the
Yeah,
problem.
we'll see if I can. Exactly. And I've never owned a glove, like a catcher's glove. So I reached out to the people. I was like, y'all going to be hooking up with gloves? I don't have a glove. This is, again, from my The Bathroom Football book. Something cool, guys. Check this out. Football people here. Here's a fact. Although the USFL, do you guys remember USFL?
I know about it.
Folded after a lack of interest,
Right.
they did contribute 2 very important things to today's game. First, the 2-point conversion. Second, the instant replay. Both of which the NFL adopted and are still here. Isn't that awesome?
Yeah.
That's
Even though
cool.
some people don't like the instant replay,
I
just
know.
the way they do
I know.
it sometimes.
The 2-point conversion, though, that's huge.
That
Yeah.
is huge.
in a
That
game.
is huge.
Wow. I actually
Huge.
didn't know that.
Here's the other one that 2 more. Penn State's original colors, school colors, were black and pink. However, when the baseball team's uniforms faded to white and dark blue, the school adopted the new colors. I would too.
They
Come on.
needed to adopt some washing machines.
Yeah, I know. They're like, we accidentally bleach our stuff. And here's the one that when I first picked up this book, I was like, what? Speaking of, I don't think we earlier had a meeting when this name came up. Warren Sapp, as a punter on his high school team, Warren Sapp
My God.
averaged 43.5 yards a kick.
How much did he weigh at that time? That's
I know,
the big,
right?
That's
there
the
you
big
go.
trivia
I don't think
question.
I don't think he was clogging the middle at that point in time.
And here's something close to you, minus the woman part. I apologize. In 2004, Jessica Elway made history by becoming the first woman to ever introduce somebody into the Pro Football Hall of Fame, her father.
Wait, she was the first
Woman.
woman.
Huh.
Has there
First
been
woman
anybody
to ever
after her?
introduce. This was in 2004. I don't know.
That's
Probably not.
That's not
Probably
that long
not.
ago.
That's pretty cool,
I
huh?
want to know who the youngest is because I think it might be me. I don't know. I was a freshman in college. I'd like to find that out because I hope, maybe that's written somewhere. Maybe I have a record somewhere in the NFL.
I figured. See, that one was close to you. That's pretty cool, huh?
Yeah, that's really cool.
Man, this thing has got. Look at it. One more. 1993, the town of Ismay, Montana, changed its name to Joe Montana in honor of the Hall of Fame quarterback.
Wow.
Yeah, just like the commercial, the Super Bowl commercial, huh? That whole Montana town.
Yeah, I just want a street or maybe a I don't know.
You want something?
block
You
or
guys
something.
My
have
garage.
something already, don't you?
My dad's got 28 is Darrell Green Boulevard. That's pretty cool.
Really?
That is cool.
28 is pretty. Everybody uses 28. I feel like it.
That's what they call. Is that a nickname for it?
It's got there's a sign somewhere on 28. You can find it. If you can
Really?
find that sign, take a picture and tweet it.
I had no idea.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
pretty awesome. I never.
There was a ceremony and everything.
What?
Cut a rope and all that.
Hey, do you
I don't
remember
know.
the parade? How old were you when the Super Bowl parade happened? Were you
Oh,
born
man, I
yet?
was 3.
Yeah, I was gonna
I
say.
was little.
So you don't remember
I
it?
just see pictures.
You
and-
just see pictures.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
But I do remember being on the field.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did get to be on the field. I don't know who allowed me to be on the field
As a
at
kid?
3 years old.
At 3
yeah,
years?
but I was
Your
there.
dad. That's who. That's awesome. Well, Jared, I know you have to run, man, but thank you so much for taking the time and joining us in studio here. Where can we follow you on Twitter? Is Jared Green the wide receiver?
Jared Green, the wide receiver. Wide receiver WR.
And what else? Anything else going on?
Working with my father, D'Angelo Hall, and a couple of my NFL buddies. We're trying to do a football camp this summer. So just stay posted. I guess you can follow me on Twitter and find out the information on that. That's pretty much it. I'm running out of here real quick, and I'm doing a Bible study at my house. That's my thing. That's my favorite thing to do. So I got to roll. But at the same time, really appreciate you guys bringing me on. This is my second time here. Maybe the next time I come, we'll do some more.
You know what we're doing?
Things.
You are going to get off your diet and me, and we're going to do a chicken wing eating contest because that's how we do it, Jared.
Okay.
I'm just saying.
What's the flavor?
Whatever you want, my man. I'll make it happen.
Whatever it is, I guess it's got to be tolerable for a long period of time.
Last time they brought 100 wings in this little room. 100 wings, hot wings.
First one
to do a chicken wing eating. I've never done a chicken wing eating contest with hot wings, man.
There's gonna be a little bit of numbing at the bottom of the tongue.
It was no joke. I smelled. I was like. You know that not good. But again, Jared Green, thank you so much for joining us in studio. We're going to take a quick music break. We'll be right back.
So,
Everybody to song. Okay. Anywhere? Alright. Sounds good. I'm talking to you now. Thank you. You guys.
Sounds good. We'll have to do something special in the show when we come in town.
Oh, sure.
If there's any room, there's gonna be a whole lot of crap talk. So yeah, good seeing you again, man.
I'm gonna send these this time.
Okay. Oh man, you're good, man. Good seeing you though. All right, buddy. Hey, let's talk. Before I get down.
Part in all-star game planning. That coaching staff was going to put a plan together, and that team was going to come out fire.
On the Eyes Radio Network.
Welcome. No. Welcome back. Clutch Sports Radio, eyesradio.com. That's where everyone can go and check us out. How was that, Coleman?
That was awesome, man. That was great. He was a great guy to talk to, provide some pretty insightful stuff, and I really liked how he answered most of the questions we kind of threw at him about the whole Redskins Cowboys rivalry, how it's kind of going on in the family and whatnot. And we actually got somebody in the chat box asking if we asked. I guess they must have just jumped in. If we asked about his dad wearing Cowboys gear, I thought that was pretty cool. He said that his dad agreed after he scores his first touchdown, he might think about putting on some Dallas gear. So I can live with that, and I understand, and that was a real great experience to be able to talk to him.
Well, you know what, friends, it's changed because I tell you what, that means that's what the competition meant. That until his son scores, then he's wearing Cowboys. Because I know he was in love with his son making it to the NFL that he was rocking, just like you were saying, the rocking the Panthers. You go on the Darwin-sports.com, he's wearing Panther colors.
Right.
So the fact that he's not wearing the Cowboys until he scores, that's called only if I have to. And I have to because he's my boy. John Harbaugh, the coach of the Baltimore Ravens, is watching him just shaking his head. You know, it's just no burst, no. And then look at the team like the Baltimore Ravens. They actually toyed around with the idea of, hey, Ray Lewis is not coming back. Could this be the kid that's going to fill Ray Lewis's shoes? Not like that. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I guess, first impressions mean a lot. And I know that this is kind of, the combine is kind of like your first impression after your college career when you're going pro. And I mean, I'm not really surprised to hear about one of the Harbaughs being a little more animated, if you will. In terms of the Ravens and their draft needs and trying to replace a guy like Ray Lewis with Mattateo, I think that's just a little too far off in terms of comparison and what he can really do. I think those guys are kind of at opposite ends of the spectrum right now. And if he's supposed to still go anywhere close to where people thought he was going to go, I don't think they're going to be necessarily getting him with their late pick.
Hey, I agree, man. I think that guy's going to be struggling. What do you think about? Did you hear that story of how the NFL or how the combine, they were asking certain questions about basically their sexual orientation? What do you think about that? I mean, obviously, Coleman, if you're interviewing for a job, the last thing you want to be asked is if you have a girlfriend, what you do and who you like and what sex you like, opposite sex or whatever, right?
Just like what we just talked about with Jared is the fact that this is a business and these are jobs. I feel like it's a job interview, what you're really going through at the combine. And in no other job can you ask a question like that. It's none of your business. You shouldn't really, it's just not appropriate. And so just because it's the NFL, one of the largest money-making organizations in the world, they have no right to be tapping into people's personal lives like that. I think I really didn't like that story, and I hope that it doesn't come up again and start to be a thing. I mean, I know that this has kind of been a story that's been playing into the NFL and in the sexuality of different players. And if anybody's ever played with somebody that's been of homosexuality, but I really hope this doesn't turn into anything more.
And Nick Casa, and I'm with you. Nick Casa is a dude who they're really, Manti Te'o's been talking about. But Nick Casa is a guy who they're going to look into this claim about, apparently, that the teams inquired about his sexual orientation. And these guys are slick, right? Coleman, they're not going to be like, hey, Coleman, are you gay?
Right.
No, it's Coleman. What do you do on Friday nights, Coleman?
Right.
Who are you hanging out with? Are you and your girlfriend watching movies? What kind of movies do you and your girlfriend watch Friday night? I don't have a girlfriend. Oh, really? What do you mean you don't have a girlfriend? Who do you hang out with? Your friends? You know what I mean? They're slick, and it's like some of these kids are gonna fall for it. Not necessarily that their sexual orientation is a different one, but that's where other things come out, and I guess that's a good thing. It's probing, but
yeah. And the direct question from what I hear is, do you like girls? I mean, that's a little more direct. I mean, that's not necessarily beating around the bush. That's going pretty much coming out within just asking. So I feel like that's a pretty risky question if you ask me.
I agree. It's kind of, it's very uncomfortable, I guess. You know what I mean? You just don't want to deal with that. So, do you think this combine is kind of disappointing compared to other years in terms of drafts and names and excitement?
Well, here's one thing. As a Redskins fan, I will tell you that there's a reason that I don't think it should be disappointing. Because from the position that I hear that did the best at the combine and is proving to be the deepest in this draft is defensive back. And of course, we know that's one of the Redskins' huge areas of need. One of the things they're going to be looking to really improve, potentially could draft, probably not as much through free agency, but could be going after with that second round pick is a defensive back. So I think that's really great to hear that position is going to be deep. So in terms of, being a fan, I like the way the combine went. Personally, I know that some DBs really stood up and shined out. So that's good.
Yeah, I definitely hope the Redskins have tons of needs. I love the fact that the mentality here in Washington is different, Coleman. That the fact that that we take the draft now as other teams do, and actually draft young players. It's a wonderful thing. Just also who was that name? Oh my gosh, I'm drawing a blank here. That dude that we just acquired, the dude from San Diego.
Oh, AJ Smith.
Yes.
Yeah, so that's something also that's big from the Combine, because the Combine is just about, looking into young talent, looking into the next stars of the league and whatnot. You also got to realize that this is a chance for a lot of professionals from around the league to come together and be in one place at the same time, and stuff happens, and we walk away from the Combine, not necessarily with a player or a young player, but instead somebody to help us in the front office. And I think that's actually should be making a little bit more big news than it has, to be quite honest. I mean, that's a big hire for the Redskins, I think. And a lot of times we don't see what kind of goes on behind the scenes, but I think he's somebody that could potentially help us out. I
actually heard someone talk about him actually from Comcast saying that, some people, how do you really measure if a guy is good at evaluating talent? It's not during, oh, look at that guy, he's really fast. It's before this guy's in high school, before he is in college and whatnot, before he really breaks out is really when, and you predict it, and that's when you're having those conversations about that player. That's when that and you can evaluate talent. You feel me?
Mm-hmm.
That apparently is what this guy AJ Smith is all about. He's got a strong background in that. That he knows what he's talking about. He's seen these players, but not when everybody's talking about it, but when nobody was talking about these guys, which that's what we need here.
Right. And actually, what I kind of like, the best about it is that he was a former GM, so he's held one of the top positions in a front office. Now he's coming to the Redskins just to be an advisor. So I feel like it's kind of like you're just becoming more deep and more knowledgeable in the front office. I feel like that's definitely a good thing, and that's somewhere that the Redskins, I think, have obviously struggled, in the past. And I think this new direction that they're trying to take it is great.
I agree. I think it's pretty exciting. Let me tell you. So let's move on to something else. That is restructuring of contracts. There's a few players. Drew Brees is open to restructuring, but one guy who actually restructured his contract was Tom Brady, and that's a big name. But because Tom Brady is Tom Brady, thinking smart, bringing more people to the team, making that team better. Isn't that nice to have a dude like that, man? That's why that franchise keeps on going, and they don't stop, huh, Coleman?
Right, yeah, and actually, I'm kind of hearing, I haven't really read into the Tom Brady restructuring his deal too much yet, but some people are actually reading into it as like a sign of weakness, that the Pats are their best football could be in the years past. So I'm not necessarily read into it that much. One thing I have seen a lot is the Cowboys have restructured a lot of deals. A lot of guys coming from big names, Witten, Carr, Miles Austin, even. So some of those big name guys on the Cowboys are stepping up to indeed restructure their deals. That's something that I would with the Redskins salary cap issue, something I would kind of like to see there, maybe a little bit. But that's something that caught my eye as a division rival.
Going to Brady. Brady restructured his contract and agreed to a 3-year, $27 million extension, $27 million extension that will keep him at the helm of the Patriots offense through 2017. The move will not only allow Brady, who will be 40 years old at the time the deal expires, to retire with the Pats, but it also allows the Pats around $15 million in added salary cap flexibility over the next 2 seasons, being AKA the reason why the man did it. 8 hours ago, Ben Roethlisberger and the Steelers reached an agreement as well when it comes to the restructuring of his contract. Let's see if after Tom Brady restructured and extended his contract with the New England Patriots last week, $15 million, so did Big Ben today. How is that for you? So everybody is getting on this train. I guess you have to
Right.
when you are these older players. Don't you think that also has something to do with it, Coleman?
If you want to win again, and if you want to win now, I mean, I think that's kind of like Brady's case. Is he's restructuring his deal to help him out in the short term to make the necessary moves so that maybe he can get back to that Super Bowl and win that Super Bowl again. Because he's not necessarily. He's thinking right now if he doesn't restructure his deal, maybe they might lose a guy like Wes Welker. Maybe they don't have as much talent around him. That's only going to hurt his chances to win again. So from that standpoint, I like it. I see where they're coming from. But also the Pats are a team that I think that they were so loaded in the past. They took some chances on some guys. Albert Hainsworth, Chad Johnson, Hugh Talib, among others. I know they took took some risks on some big name guys. And I think it kind of hurt them financially. So that's pretty interesting as well. But I do like the Brady move in the sense of being able to try to win and win now.
And I like it too. I like it because without those two, that is Brady and Belichick. Belichick and Brady, you got nothing. And here I'm reading a little bit more regarding Big Ben's contract, tweeted by Albert Breer from NFL Network, I believe. Ben Roethlisberger's cap figure for 2013 shrinks to $13.595 million, creating approximately a $5 million in cap space for restructuring that deal. Do you think the Steelers are at the point where they're winning now? They've struggled. In the past 3 years, Coleman, the Steelers have had up and down seasons.
Right. No
way, no doubt around it. Considering who the Steelers are, do you remember for several seasons it was the Steelers and the Ravens, AFC. You know what I mean? They were the ones that were going at that spot, and now it just doesn't seem that way. It seems like obviously the Ravens, not only are they the Super Bowl champions, but they've just stepped up this year. Last year too. Last year they made it to the AFC Championship game that passed to, who was that dude? Who was the dude? Levi. No, not Levi. Who was the wide receiver that played for the Buffalo Bills that missed that pass that Joe Flacco threw?
Lee Evans.
Lee Evans.
Yeah.
Lee Evans. They could have been champs, and look what they did this year. They took it back to the AFC Championship, and not only that, they took it all the way and won the big freaking thing. So those are the new big boys in town, if you ask me, on that division. What do you think?
Yeah, I agree. Watching that defense, I just feel like they're getting older. Polamalu doesn't seem like he can stay healthy. Their run game isn't what it used to be. I know they used to run the ball with much more dominance, and their pass game is now kind of like the center of that offense. And with that said, it doesn't really look good in terms of the potential of maybe even losing Mike Wallace. So, the Steelers are a team to me that the Redskins had them on their schedule this year. And I know it was a little bit more of a sloppy game, but they didn't necessarily scare me the way the Steelers used to scare me. So, I think that's definitely the Ravens division here.
Man, the Ravens have to lose it now, and it's going to be a little while until they do. Well, you never know. Do you think losing Ray Lewis is going to be a big dip in the Ravens defense and the Ravens team altogether?
Well, I would have said no before. I didn't buy into the whole spiritual thing, rallying around the guy and everything like that. But they did, and I don't necessarily think that his production on the field was necessarily at that high of a level, this past year. But then again, you could argue that because he came back and sure enough, they started winning. So I think only time will really tell with that one. Of course, he is going to, somebody else is going to have to step up and try to take over that new role. So, we'll see. We'll see. I think that could be one of the big storylines of how that Ravens defense is without Ray Lewis, and they're kind of aging as well.
All right, Coleman, just real quick, we got to dip into this. And you are the man that I know when it comes to all this stuff, and that is Oscars. We got to get off the football for a little bit. Oscars, I watched none of it except for when I got tweeted by a few of the friends on Twitter, Darwin, Ted's on! And I was like, oh, snap, gotta watch my teddy bear. And that's when I got on the Oscars to watch the dang teddy bear. Besides that, was it fun? What was your favorite thing of the Oscars?
So, I mean, I'm a Seth MacFarlane fan. I know a lot of people, his opening and his stand-up stuff was kind of, I guess, controversial, some people said, but I mean, I liked it. I was a big fan of that. You know, the Oscars as a whole was pretty good. I think they got it right on Best Picture. So Argo, I actually was able to see that last week, so only a couple days before the Oscars. But that was a phenomenal movie. That movie was great. I was a big fan of Argo. Haven't had a chance to see all the movies that were nominated, but yeah, Argo was awesome. Have you seen Argo?
No.
Gotta see it. It's good.
I'll be honest with you, haven't heard of it.
Really? Oh, come on.
Coleman, I don't get out much. I don't.
Well,
guys,
it'll come on demand soon. You can watch it.
Oh, definitely. By the way, eyesradio.com. Check out the other shows on the network, and that is Noise Sports, Urban Sports Scene. Check them out. They're broadcasting live nowadays too. My boy Wally. And check out the dudes from Backfield Radio. That is RJ and Alan. I know last night they were joined by a good friend of mine, Liddell Betts. So check out their show as well. Backfield Radio, eyesradio.com. And guys, everyone, please, thank you so much, Coleman. We got numbers. Did you see the numbers? Did you get that email with numbers in terms of hits and shows, hits and listens and downloads?
Got some loyalty.
Yeah, right? Did you see those numbers?
Yeah, that's good stuff.
They were good numbers, huh?
Yeah.
So we don't want to discuss actually